It was in May. I was tired of urban, everyday life and decided to go out of town to relax. The shore of the lake, fishing, fresh air, nature. That's what I need. A constantly working poor worker, and there were just days off ahead. At work, tired of constant running around the office interior. All these discontent faces, the selfish boss, etc. Yes, and my wife left for the night shift to work today. Finally, I gathered everything I needed. I threw it in the trunk of my car, got in and drove off. I rode in high spirits, listening to cheerful music, absolutely not knowing what a nightmare I will have to endure and what faith awaits me. Here I am. In front of me was a landscape from the shore of the reservoir. Spring pine forest, fresh air, and blissful silence. The beauty. Soon the song of the birds broke the silence. I enjoyed all of this with a fishing rod in my hand. After a successful fishing, I cooked fish soup in a cauldron and quickly ate everything. It was already evening. I swam in the cool water, even though it was just May. After packing everything in my car, I sat ashore and looked at the sunset. At flying birds, grasshoppers chattered in the grass. I was already tired. I didn't have a tent, so I climbed into the car and instantly fell asleep. I woke up because something or someone hit the back door of the car from outside. It was dark outside the window. Asleep, I thought that the wind rose and some heavy branch hit the car. I didn't have time to think. As again a knock, but this time already on the glass. By the sound of it, it was not a branch, but as if pounded by the hand. I felt uneasy. On adrenaline, I locked all the doors and windows in the car. Knock again. Who walks at such a late hour? I thought. Probably some hooligans from the nearest village came to drink beer, and when they saw the car, they started to hit it. But no voices were heard. An incomprehensible feeling revived in my heart. Some sense of endless horror before something disproportionately terrible and deadly. I crawled back to see who was so stupidly joking with me, then turn on the hero to go out and beat these jokers' asses. As soon as I thought about it, I saw someone's ugly foot behind the glass. Cold ran through my whole body and my leg got numb. I tried to hide in the darkness of the car. Suddenly I was angry with myself. An adult guy, but was afraid of something. Suddenly in the window, I finally saw a face. It was a girl with blurred and tangled hair, face in purulent acne and scars. Her empty black eye sockets in the dark were looking for me, and her mouth was torn from ear to ear. She was very thin and bony. She sniffed me. She knew that I was here inside, and she walked away. I looked out the windows. The creature was nowhere to be seen, either ambushed or tired of waiting. I relied more on the second option, but as it turned out, I was wrong, because she quietly climbed into the roof and set up an ambush. As soon as I got up, I saw through the windshield. Now her face, or rather erysipeals, looked right into my soul. I, moron, revealed myself. She smirked and calmly told, "That's it, animal. Today you will die." I almost jumped out of my skin. She hit the windshield with her foot. Already a crack has appeared. Fortunately, the window and the car were good. Costly. The roof bent slightly under the heavy weight of this scum. I realized that I needed to run away from here while I'm alive. Run away as soon as possible. To hell with such a vacation. I took courage and crawled into the driver's seat. Started the engine, but it did not start. Signaled to frighten off this scum, but she, the reptile, was still sitting on the roof and scratching the car body. The second time I tried to start the engine and he succumbed. I started off. The thing rolled down from the roof and from the hood of the car. She did not have time to come to her senses as I ran her over several times. I looked in the mirror. The creature was no longer moving. I hit the gas and left here. I didn't worry about my stuff, because I had everything in the car, so that night the wind wouldn't blow anything away. Yes, and I didn't care. I drove for a long time. Along the way, the car stalled several times, but each time it started, I was on my nerves. I turned on the music to calm down a bit. With difficulty, I reached the city. I could come down to my senses from what had happened, but the rare passerbys, the lights and the atmosphere of the night city were slowly pulling me out of this panic state. When I got home, having forgotten all my things in the car, I went up to my apartment, took whiskey out of the freezer, turned on the music at a minimum volume to calm myself. I couldn't sleep because the creature did not get out of my head. Sometimes I looked around but found nothing suspicious. As soon as the first rays of the sun broke through the windows, I turned off the music and went to bed. I did not see dreams, but when I fell asleep, I was afraid that the creature would appear to me in a dream. I woke up from the voice of my wife, who reproached me for sleeping again till dinner. I told her this story. She was shocked by what she heard. A little later, we both learned that not far from that place, there is an old abandoned cemetery. Vacationers, people from the village, or just tourists, with the onset of the first twilight, try as soon as possible to leave that place. I see this thing everywhere now. In a mirror, in a dream, in the dark, and even in a glass of coffee. After which I realized that I was crazy. I lost my mind. I spent half a month in the hospital. In the faces of other psychos, I saw terrible faces. After I was discharged, I went to church. After that, the creature ceased to appear to me. But in memory of the rest, now I have white hair on my temples and heart problems.